Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts.
Hey, users and subscribers, welcome back to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. We have a number of stories to cover in this episode. First of all, we are going to start with this whole thing with Critics and Lola before we move on to other critical stories, one of which broke the news today. So, Critic, as you know, has been coming out repeatedly trying to say that Lola Doll has basically fabricated everything that took place for political advantage. He is claiming that the whole shooting was organized by Aziz Mohammed. Yeah, I cannot believe it myself, but this is what the man is saying. In addition, he's claiming that Lola Doll never saw her shooter, that it was some ploy to actually point blame towards Darby Jr. And he is saying that the man that she claims is the shooter was nowhere near the scene of the crime. So, Critic took to his live, and this is what he had to say. Take a listen.
The police PR and the Guyana police force in general is full of bullshit. Lolita Calendar, when she first regained consciousness, this before this video, she said she did not see anybody. Come in this video, said she see somebody in the eye, and then bashing the police, and the police never said anything. Everything quiet. Got Halloween confusion.
Just playing devil's advocate here for a second, right? I know you probably have evidence you haven't revealed yet, but I just want to offer another frame of mind. Me as an individual, having a situation like this young lady, being asked by a corrupt organization, who shot you, while I'm in a vulnerable state, laying in a bed, I may not want to reveal that information right away because I don't know what's going to happen to me until I'm released and maybe I'm in a more protective state of custody. So I'm just offering that up as maybe an explanation as to why an individual might say they don't know who did it, because you don't know who's who in a situation when you're laying vulnerable in the bed. Even the people in the hospital might not.
No, but that is for a person on the street. That is not for a person who has direct connections to all of these people.
Right.
How she know what's going on and she connected to Aziz Mohammed?
Good. Well, you don't know if you give out the name while you're in that vulnerable state. Maybe people are gonna connect the dots and say, okay, well, bam, 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 name calling. You gotta do something before she come out and say, what. So I'm just offering that up as maybe a
my brother.
Explanation as to
my brother. If you pointing somebody in the direction other than your killer, how you trying to save yourself?
Like I said, you got the information we don't have. I'm just throwing that out there for public consumption.
Safe. If you pointing somebody, you know you the target that is money teeny. How you catch yourself? You get in this whole. How I get in this problem? How I get in this custody with this girl? How I start calling run their name? Who gave me the information about this one man with mask and one man without a mask? You get a whole script that end you up in a story that cause some, that seems, you in a story, that seems that somebody want to take your life. And you telling the police, I steal this money, you know. I tell this man, I tell this man my story is he tell me. When I had the first story with Randall, is Mohammed, Carl Randall and Tati and thing and I don't know nothing but Mohammed. Did Randall Carl and started the story for did Aziz Mohammed called Randall Darby and started the story for Lolita Calendar? And if he did so, why? What the person didn't tell her is that we have video. They didn't give she a name that describing somebody similar to the person seen the video. What they did, Wani is somehow connected to Randall Dabby. And Wani was wanted in the past for some kidnapping on Main Street or something like that. So, high suspect. Use a name and just don't use the name. Make sure you tell her you see the man in the eye. You're certain with all certainties that is Wani. Well, watch here now. Right? This is Wani. This is Wani arriving at a hotel in Borbies. This is Wani. Look at Wani.
Just use fast forward. Use fast forward.
Yeah. Fast forward now.
So this is a door to a club. This is the room to the hotel. This is the exit to the hotel, the exit and entrance of the hotel. What you going, Annie? I'm going to show you Wani.
Just use fast forward. No, you don't press it. Just use fast forward.
Yeah. Fast forward now.
Then to my dad come upstairs in the room.
Watch me. At 9:45, right? Wani is still in Borbies. Let me make sure we get the right one. One is the 6th. When Wani went to Borbies. Hold on. Let me make sure we get the right one. This is 6th. When Wani arrived in Borbies. At the hotel, not in Borbies. When Wani going in the hotel. So imagine Wani going in a hotel at 9 o'clock on the 6th to create an alibi. But remember they got footage of Wani in the club at the time, all the way through. Just so you know, Wani is in the presence of other people. Wani in there alone. And vibes that I'm saying, there's video footage of Wani in Borbies, the person that she called in Borbies. At the time, when she called the individual, said she see him with her own eyes, shoot her, and walk away. And I don't know if people tell you that the man run. Or the time she was seeing some white light and everything going slow motion, make she think the man was walking when he was running. Lolita Calendar has to come and tell the Guyana police force the truth, and Guyana is the truth. Stop playing a game. Because I could tell you.
Now, interestingly, he also posted snapshots of the CCTV images of this character called Wani. He is claiming that he was at a hotel which was approximately 2 hours and a bit away from the scene of the crime, which is Lola's house. He's saying that there's no way he would have gotten there from 9 o'clock at night to get there for after 11 in order to execute the crime. And that the stature of Wani was, somebody quite short and stocky, and that the person in the video was a tall and thin person. He also claimed that Wani was present in a club at the hotel for the duration of the night, and that several people saw him. Now, what was interesting was that when it came to the CCTV footage of Wani in the club surrounded by people, you could clearly see there was access to the admin dashboard, which means that anybody could have jimmied the date and the time that he is showing in these snapshots. It was also interesting that he never showed the live footage of Wani in the club in his video, although he showed Wani entering the hotel at after 9 o'clock on the 6th when Lola got shot. I'm going to show you some CCTV snapshots from the event that took place at Lola's house. Now, while you take a look at this, pay attention to the profile of the shooter. Remember, one that we saw in the CCTV images at the hotel, he was quite, he had a bit of a punch. He have belly. Now, you can clearly see by this profile here that this shooter has a belly. Now, one walks with a bit of a limp. When I rewound the video for the CCTV image and looked over and over again, when he disembarked from the bike, he was clearly walking with a limp. Now, as you know, another blogger by the name of Fire, he has already done an analysis showing you that Lola Doll had her window down. You can clearly see the light was on in her car, and then the window went up, which blacked out the lights and fired the 8 shots. Now, in addition to that, the way this man walks off the bike and even the slow run back to the bike, his movements suggests he has some kind of physical challenge that has to do with his lower limbs. Now, everybody who is aware of this Wani character will say that this Wani character has a similar kind of gait. Now, I don't know why it is that Critic is so hell-bent on claiming that Lola is lying, and why it is that he is trying to take the heat off of the Darbies. He's even went as far as to say that Lola has been paid and that she spoke from a script when she did this particular live in June, saying that she was reading off camera. I've never heard such nonsense in my life, because it didn't look like she was reading to me. Even if she was looking to the side, it could have been that she was looking at her phone, her other phone, looking at comments. It could be anything. Now, he's also suggesting that Azim Mohammed and her went to Barbados in order to file charges against Paul Darby Jr. in order for him to get sanctioned. No, you tell me. Where is Critics getting all of his nonsense from? And if the man was at the hotel at 9 p.m. or thereabouts, that is sufficient time for him to drive to Lola's house, especially if he's riding, if he's doing it with excessive speed. In addition, this whole CCTV footage does not cover the length of period between then and the point when Lola got shot. He's claiming that he was in a club. Where is the footage of him being in the club? Why couldn't you get access to that? Because surely that would be a significant piece of evidence in order to release and convince your audience. It's clear to me that Critics has the eye and the ear of a particular section of the Guyanese population. When I look in the comments, there was nothing but classist and racist individuals making statements that were derogatory towards the lady based on her socioeconomical status. It was about a mere put down of this individual's intelligence instead of proving that the claims of Lola were incorrect. I was not impressed by what Critic brought forward as evidence. It certainly did not suffice to convince me that Lola did not know who her shooter was. Furthermore, Lola has confirmed by resharing the previous blogger's analysis, stating that this is exactly what took place on her Facebook page. She is insistent that she will not rest until justice is served, and that she is to be likened to a female version of 50 Cent, who was shot multiple times and survived and rose above that to great success and fame. Now you tell me, with this cyber crimes and cybersecurity mandate of the current PPP government, how is it that somebody like Guyanese Critic has not been arrested or charged for his slander and libel of Azim Mohammed? He is a member of parliament. He's in the opposition party. However, he is in parliament. He's a part of your government. And he's making very, very ludicrous claims against this man's name, that he has basically paid Lola Doll for whatever because he's given no reason, and that he is now trying to wipe out and clean up his misdoings with the influencers on social media. So he's trying to eliminate them. Isn't that a serious allegation? And I would really like to see Azim Mohammed take a stand against Critic, because if these claims are not true, he needs to be brought to task. How dare he come out and make these kind of allegations without hardcore evidence and proof? And he seems to be so self-righteous that he believes he cannot be touched. These kind of things going out in social media are very dangerous. These claims of corruption and all kinds of blackmail tactics, because essentially he's saying that Lola Doll has come forward to support Azim Mohammed, but she was paid to do so. So that's payola. And now that he has no use for her, he doesn't want his details to be brought to the public about why it is that they were paid, and hence the reason why Doggy is quiet and so too Fatta, and that those two are also persons of interest with regards to the corruption that Azim Mohammed takes the lead on. He's also claiming that Azim Mohammed is very good at cleaning up after his misgivings, his misdeeds. No, come on. Very, very crazy comments by Critic. Hard to believe. And at the end of the day, he has not effectively proven that Lola Doll did not see her shooter, because you can clearly see in the video that her window was down. She clearly had access to her side view mirror. She was facing in the opposite direction, but she could have easily seen who was approaching her. It was in the still of the night, so come on, there's not that many people on the street. It would not have been hard to recognize that a bike went past her and stopped, and that this individual was walking towards the car. The person was already armed, meaning that he didn't reach for a weapon. The weapon was in his hand. He went straight to the window and did his deed. So I don't see why there's a debate about whether or not she saw who the shooter was. And then now he's saying that the physicality is completely different. I'm sorry, I've zoomed in. I see a big belly man coming off of the bike. The same big belly man that I'm seeing in these videos that he's claiming is at a hotel how many hours away. And the fact that there is that more or less that time gap between when the incident took place and when this man's CCTV image was captured shows that it is possible that he could have gotten there at that time, especially that we have to take into account how quickly he traveled, what he traveled on, and so on, whether or not there was traffic on the road, all of that kind of thing, which would have been minimal at that time of the night. So I think that it is likely that this individual needs to account for that gap in time. Is there CCTV footage of him being in the hotel for the duration of the time? And that's the only thing that can eliminate him from this process of suspicion. That's the only thing that can remove him from the picture. And so far, I have not seen that. So what really is Critic's agenda? Why does he keep referring to Azim Mohammed as being the mastermind behind all of this? And how would it benefit Azim Mohammed in any way, considering that now he is sitting in parliament as the leading opposition? Why would he want to entangle himself in this kind of mess is beyond me. The only thing that Critic said that I would agree with is for Lola to be very, very careful. She is a very outspoken character, and it is clear that she feels as though she has to shout for her justice because she doesn't feel it's going to be handled properly by the authorities. I am concerned that she is now, according to Critic, discharged from hospital and back in her premises, which means that her location is now known. And the last thing I'd like to hear is that somebody's gone there to finish off the job, and they may send somebody quite unassuming who would have access to the community and access to her. So be very, very careful, Lola. Make sure that your security is tight. And where possible, I would suggest that you move from that area, if it's even temporarily, and get yourself fully recovered. Lola Doll has even come forward and thanked her partner. She claims 9 days ago they tried to take my life for no reason at all. I'm going to need you guys to put some respect on his name. He is the one that kept me alive to tell my story. He jumped off my 2-story building and head straight to me after hearing the gunshots. He could have run behind the shooter, but he did not. He didn't wait on an ambulance. He took that car, put me in the back seat, and drive up the one way of Vlissingen Road. He put that Benz in sports mode and drove straight to Georgetown Hospital just in time. All my prayers goes to him and God for keeping me alive. I am happy and thankful for him. God's richest blessings on him. Right. So that was a thank you that was sent to this wonderful man who helped Lola Doll to survive. I honestly hope that she receives justice and that all these conspiracy theories stop. The first witness has to be the victim. If the victim is capable of identifying someone who caused her harm, it needs to be taken seriously. And all these political nonsense that Critic is coming with, which doesn't make any sense to me, needs to stop. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Now, if you remember the fire that took place in Albouystown, the families that have been left displaced and homeless amounts to over 30. Yep, over 30 persons. So over 30 persons are left homeless by this blaze that took place. Now, it's so unfortunate and saddening that this has happened, but the Guyanese government has responded. According to them, other groups and organizations and the government will be offering support to these 30 people. The Civil Defense Commission has operationalized a shelter at the Six Head Lewis Gym located in Albouystown to accommodate those displaced by the fire. The government has also provided financial assistance to the sum of $50,000 as a starter to each of the families affected by the blaze, in addition to food, mattresses, and other essentials. Now, that's not $50,000 per person. I want you to listen carefully to the wording of this offer on the table from the Guyanese government. It's $50,000 per family. So if I have 2 people, that $50,000 will go a bit of a way. If I have 5 people in my family, then that $50,000 is going to come in like scraps. Yes, because you can imagine that each family will have a varying number of people. So anyway, they offered them food and mattresses and other essentials while they're staying at this gym. Now, this amounts to a total of 3 months worth of rent. So according to one of the residents, who is a mother of 3, she said she spent the night at her father's along with her children. She said that the support that is needed is great because people have lost everything in the fire. According to her, they said that they would help them. She said that while the initial support is welcome, she's hoping to get help to build back her home and restart her small business, which was also gutted by the blaze. Now, you tell me, shouldn't the priority of the Guyanese government be to actually find housing for these people? You're giving them 3 months' rent and temporary shelter at the Six Head Lewis Gym. They should be looking for property to give to these people, social housing to give to these people, or at the very least, helping them to rebuild their homes. To think that they are now sending them out on the street in a state of vulnerability. They've literally got children who are now supposed to be in school age. No uniform, no books, no paperwork. Which government workers are there fast tracking these people who have lost their documentation so that they can be reassigned all of the relevant paperwork necessary to hold them as citizens of the country? Which department is going to be in charge of ensuring that the children are appropriately looked after, that their welfare is considered, that uniforms, books, and school equipment are provided so that the children can continue their education? There is no mention of the essential things that are necessary for the fabric of family life when it comes to 3 months rent and food and mattress. It sounds like a really dismissive approach by the Guyanese government. And as much as, yes, it is a little help, it certainly will not suffice. And there is no guarantee that they're going to find a property within this space of time that will house them and their children. 3 months covering of rent is not enough for a family with children especially. And to think that a lot of these people, they had established their little businesses in their property, and now that is no more. They will not even have the wherewithal to actually sustain their standard of living, even if they do manage to get a property, unless that landlord is willing to allow them to restart a business there. There are crucial gaps in the support that's being offered by the Guyanese government. And the people who have been displaced by this fire deserve better. But seriously, you know the kind of support we are looking for? Do you remember that in January of 2024, there was yet another tragic fire in Albouystown where a mother needed to rebuild her home and had actually lost her 3-year-old son, Amani Abrahams, to that devastating fire on Cooper Street? Do you remember that Azim Mohammed went to assist that single mother to rebuild her home? The businessman had offered to partially assist Bailey in rebuilding her home, aiming to provide a safe space for her and her remaining children as soon as possible. That fire had taken place on the 30th of December, and within a month, that mother had another place to live in an environment and a community that she knew very well and had already established ties and had a whole history of her children growing up. So, to me, that is what help looks like in situations of destitution, that the government should be prepared to step up to the plate when you have got an entire community so greatly affected by such a tragic circumstance. It isn't about sending them, casting them out into the marketplace to search for yet other homes, scatter them away from communities where they have been bonded, in order for them to find places to rent for at most 3 months with no kind of clear pathway as to how they can maintain their standard of living if they have to move outside of their community. One has to wonder the source of this fire. Everybody knows that Albouystown is a ghetto. Are you trying to gentrify that area? Is it a deliberate attempt to cast the people far and wide from Albouystown so that you can then turn it into a posh development for the rich to actually move into? Because why would you not reinvest in that community to help to sustain it? Critical questions. Now you tell me, what about those incomplete houses in Great Diamond? Yes. Now the government, they offered to build how many houses between now and 2025 for the people? Social housing to make housing affordable for the masses. This I have come across on Facebook. Thank you so much to my Guyanese informants who made it clear to me that, listen, there are houses standing empty that the government could easily have asked for their occupation by these displaced families. But no, they don't think they're good enough, or what? What is it? You have incomplete buildings. These people would willingly complete them. With that 50,000, they could do something and turn it into great living spaces for them. But of course, you have already rented out quite a bit of it or handed over quite a bit of it to Venezuelans and others. So I guess the Guyanese population do not matter. Take a look for yourself.
Good morning to you, my wonderful listeners and viewers who will be viewing this recording. It's a beautiful day today being Tuesday the 19th day of August in our Lord's year of 2025. Well, this morning I decided to take a drive, to visit some areas and see what's happening in the housing sector. you know, just to expose the continuous lies that this government would from time to time say to the people of Guyana, that they're doing houses, they're building houses, they're giving out lands. But when you look at it, here you're seeing, you know, an unfinished, perhaps some of these houses that I'm going to demonstrate to you. Some of these houses, I don't know, contractors might have given up on the project because they had the monies to complete these houses, you know. The government boasts between 2020 to 2025 that they've issued in excess of 50,000 house lots. Look what is happening here. You know, I'm driving just to let you get a view of what is really happening in this area called Little Diamond, and the continuous lies you would hear from this government. That is why you have thousands of applications, thousands. Look what's happening. Bush. You know, this is to demonstrate that the government, look, apparently this one started and incomplete, and it's now overtaken with bushes. This is another one, incomplete. I got hundreds, if possible, thousands of people every day. People are reporting that number of houses have been locked up in this place. So you see what is going on here. Let me just fix this belt. Yeah. So this is what is going on here. Look, I feel this joke. Look, these fat houses. Look how many. Look what is happening. I'm zooming in to show you what is really happening. You know, these are the less than 700 square feet houses. You see what's happening? Look what's happening. Built, locked up for years. You could see there's no sign of meter on the buildings. So that in itself would say to you that these houses have not been allocated. Right? Poor people are suffering in this country. People are suffering in this country. Housing is in a mess. So you couldn't address 50,000 house lots that you want us to see. The cows have now found a home, a place called home, because why, nobody's living there. Huge bushes. What is really happening, Colin Cole? I'm just showing you what is happening in Great Diamond. I'm just showing you what is happening. So, what is happening in Great Diamond? You know? And they want us to believe that all is well. All is well. Look what is happening here. You see? Let me just see if I can turn here. Turn it back here a bit. Oops. So housing is in crisis. Right? Housing is in crisis from 1992 to 2015. They couldn't get it right. You think they get it right between 2020 to now? No. The only thing they're getting right is giving their friends, their families, and their associates all the prime lands to build apartments, to build hotels, to build there's the other thing, businesses, you know, building generational wealth. That is what they're doing to poor people in this country. Just look what is happening now in this job. Incomplete. And this is evident that these houses construction on these houses started years ago, because I remember visiting this area on several occasions, and nothing significant has changed. Right? Years ago, and you're telling Guyanese that 50,000 house lots have been allocated. Where, when, and to whom? Where, when, and to whom? That's what I want to know. Where, when, and to whom? That's what I want to know, Colin Ford. Where, when, and to whom? You know? Going here. You know? Going here. Just so that y'all can really get an idea as to what is really happening. You see these houses here? Again, look, all closed up, all. And you're telling people, watch this one, Buckbead, everything. Look, the bridge, the bridge that was probably built so that people could access the area. What is really happening? Something is definitely happening. I just can't understand what is really happening. Perhaps the Ministry of Housing can tell us. Are you coming to tell Guyanese that come 2025 to 2030, y'all got intentions of building some 40,000 houses? For who?
Now, speaking of infrastructure, security is a very significant part of that, and the people must be able to have faith in the national security that exists in their country. Here we have a story of a lady who claims that her brother was harassed and assaulted by the Guyanese police force. She's claiming that they came to arrest him for whatever charge, and it might be deserved, who knows, because that she didn't specify. But instead, they turned the house inside out, looking for this person. The person was not there, and in the process, actually stole money that was stored in the property that belonged to someone else. I'd like you to listen to what they have to say and let me know your thoughts in the comments about how this case was handled.
You left this man, me, my daughter left for go the shop. When we coming home now, then by car me tell the police come down here so. To Shan. When we come now, this where we once you open the door, this where we see. They come in here, sir, ransack the house. Search up all over, add money, and did this thing at 20,000 and the air, sir. And this cloth, look how the cloth left roll up. I had 20,000 under there for go and buy this thing for start my business. But she will pull on me my business. They come the kites contract I seen. Look at the children, a fucking set. Look at the children, he said. Search up and thing tumble up in there, so. Watch. Look what I do. All over the toilet, search up my daughter room. Tumble up at the scone looking for. Go in there. I know what I'm looking for. Watch. All over. Come this where I come to. Just come for the fucking shop. I'm on your basket and everything. Look at it. And the door the lock. Watch. Look what they come in and do. Broke up every fucking thing. Watch. All over all the 3 room, then the ramsack. All over everything. People gonna get gun in there. So much countries. What will people do with gun in there? Or what they're looking for? Nothing in there for them. I want for fucking 20,000 people went on in the cloud for start my business. The kite way I want it back. I'm going to making this video here, sir. And I put it on Facebook for people the world see how them police fucking wicked.
This morning, me and my mother wake up and go by the shop. While coming back from the shop, we see one of my brother friend on the road. The boy tell we. You get the phone. The boy tell we how the police just come and start beating up your brother and carry you down the road. When we got home, the door kicked down, the police are in the yard, you're asking them what happened, nobody answering, everybody watching at you. All my brother and coffee shy in the van. I don't know if they want to break here and that kind of thing. Soon as my brother see me, the boy start hollering down and saying now that put gun in his mouth, telling me then shoot him, beating him with battle. That's how you come at people house and arrest people early in the morning. You can't get no peace with these police. You get a arrest, a freaking report for E. Y'all come and tell people was the report and carry away. It's not like if he run away or if he's a gunman or something. Y'all just come and start beating up people. Search up me all house. I had my money in my draw saving. I can't come by the police. I can't come by the station and ask them for a start. I can't go nowhere and ask them for a start. That is what hard for me money. Yeah, come my people out and cry where the money. Now I come at the station asking them what's the problem, where they get me running there for. Nobody answering. You talk about your money, they're chasing you out the station, but it's not the place. Why is the person for go and talk about my money with them thieves? Why is the person want to talk about my money with the police thief? I have my mother money with your other hand, nobody TV, the thief. Show them the music, set all kind of thing. Who fixing it back? Who fixing it back? I'm saying them, I'm sick and tired of these police money. Y'all got to report to me, brother. Y'all come and lock you up. Y'all come and do your work. We are beating you for. The last time by the fucking PPP rally, the boy said, all the boy says, y'all no trick we. Y'all lock up the boy, Tazy Wheelie, Tazy Barnes, Tazy BT. It's only left for y'all go bugger the boy. When the police want from black people and it's black people like we serve. Black people like we serve them doing this too. People, y'all work, y'all do y'all work, y'all. It's like not like this police work, it's y'all alone, it's the government work. Why y'all doing this to people? Come and make y'all arrest and go line y'all way. Y'all come and search, do what y'all got do. Why y'all shine on people music set and all kind of thing. And I ain't turning on the TV yet to see if y'all shine on the too. I need my thing fixed back. I want my set fixed back. I want my money when y'all take out my draw and my mother money. Y'all don't give nobody nothing. Nothing y'all don't give nobody. Y'all want to start, y'all love to come and tell people y'all want to start. When y'all see people y'all want to 5,000 and this and that, lunch money y'all always want. I still call my people house. Showing down the thing them. Who fixing back the thing them? Who fixing it back? I'm a blender, y'all shine up and broke up. Y'all could see through a blender for no. If I got in a blender, if it's God, y'all say y'all look.
I barrel on me suitcase and they tumble up.
Everything y'all come and tumble up.
People got in there. I not a slack mother. I ain't a slack mother thing because nobody was got in there. So we are that you doing them shoving it.
Them going on. Me know if you just see us go by people's house, kick down the door and start up when nobody in the home. Nobody in the home and y'all going and kick down people's door and start up the house.
What want to tell me?
No, they put you in the van. Me father got all the kind they go, they got the handcuff on the hand and shining the van. I don't know if they want broke your hand. They telling me father, well, move from here, move from here. That's how police is as professional. Now we there behind the van, we asking them whopping, them reversing for knock down people when they coming out. They reversing for knock you down just because you're asking them, what is the problem? Now you come by the station, you're talking much about it when them pick up. Them tell you but don't keep nice and compound. Who is supposed to go keep the nice? And it's them thief with money. I need some money to look into this. I sick and tired of these police, boy. Innocent people are always come down doing a bundle of shit. You got to report, you claim you got to report. You come and you say you got to report for whatever is the case. You need his body stage on the questioning and he gonna go. It's not like a case me brother try to run away or not need her right there. Right there. Them come beating up me brother with a button, pushing gun in his mouth, lashing in the head with gun, that kind of thing. Right now you want my brother on the station because he at the hospital. Cause me know there's no police walking now. Me know you're just running people's house, beat up people, search up the whole and ransack the whole place, carry away people money and these kind of things. Me know there's what them police step on now.
Now, what stood out for me was the use of the taser. The fact that she kept repeating that her brother was tased in inappropriate places. Now, this is not how police are trained to use tasers at all. Now, it sounds to me that they were using the taser as a torture device as opposed to a device that disables in order for arrest to take place. Something is very wrong about this story. And if this is the case, the Guyanese police who were involved in this arrest do need to be investigated. For one thing, It should be protocol that when you are coming to search, you should have a warrant. You should have authority that's signed off by the higher ordinances that state that you have permission to enter the property, search, and confiscate what is considered necessary for a case. It should be that Guyanese police are encouraged to wear cameras. Now, I do believe that this is the case in Guyana. So, how is it that body cams are not available to investigate this situation? Because if money has been taken, there should be footage of this. And if it has been brought into custody because it's a part of the investigation, then it should be there for the family to claim back if it has nothing to do with whatever the arrest is for. Things that need to be fixed in our Caribbean diaspora. These are the kind of things that we have to pay attention to because it just gives open avenue for further corruption and for abuse of the populace by those who have a bit of authority over them. That's just not how the job is supposed to be done. Now, finally, James Bond parliamentarian has been accused by Melly of a serious allegation. According to her, this James Bond has actually had an affair with a minor. She's claiming that the family are very worried for the safety of their child. I would like you to take a listen to Melly Mel's live that she did moments ago.
Good morning. So let me introduce you to our parliamentarians. So first one is James Bond. So this young lady, this child family members reached out to me. So apparently he's been having a relationship with her since she was 15. She is now 17. And his wife, her child mother, I don't know if they're married, I don't know the young lady, I don't know the woman, whoever he's living home with, recently found out about this relationship. And she is now allegedly threatening this child to burn her with acid and to catch her and bank her and beat her. So of course the young lady is very scared. The mother said she's been asking her for years because she keep hearing this thing about her and James Bond going wrong, and she keep denying it. But after she started to get threatened by this woman that he's living with, now she's scared and she confessed to the mother what's been happening. So imagine you as a big man, almost 50. How old is James Bond? I don't know, but he was renting an apartment for her in Collagen or one of these places. The young lady's scared to go back to the apartment. She's back with her family. She left everything in the apartment because of all these threats and stuff. So you have got to be sick in your head. Something got wrong with you as a big man, touching your 50, going in your 50s, to start a relationship with a young lady that when she was 15, she's now 17, and then have the woman that you're living with, another big woman, threatening this young girl to burn her with acid and all these things. And of course, who wouldn't be scared? We just saw two young ladies being burnt with acid in Guyana. One of Balwan Singh cashier, and another young lady that was working with her. I'm not at liberty to say because I don't know what was the reason, what happened. I'm not saying that, she was with somebody man or anything, because I don't know the extent, I don't know the reason for that happening to that young lady. But apparently this is going to become a trend now. Like, people are literally paying people to burn, like this figure, burn you with acid and these kind of things. So upon hearing that, the family members reached out to me and wanted the public to know, so in case anything happened to that child, that James Bond, new parliamentarian that's heading into parliament, was having an affair with since she was 15. If anything happens to her, then they know who to point. The public must know who to point their fingers at. We just saw Lola Doll got shot 8 times. We just saw two young women burnt with acid. This attack on women. And the funny thing is, I don't understand how these women just feel comfortable, you hear, threatening the other woman, when it's you, man, there with them, why you burning your man with acid? He lie down next to you every night sleeping. And out here is a pedophile. Why you burning your man? Why you dealing with your man? Why this little girl and your family now must live in fear just because they feel as though your man is now a parliamentarian and he's a member of the PPP, and if anything happens to this child, they won't get any justice. James Bond, you and your child mother and whoever you're living on with, leave this little girl alone. Let your child mother know you're there with this girl since she's 15. Y'all just listen, these big men in Guyana, just sickening. And these are the people that are going to parliament to represent y'all. That's supposed to have children, the people of Guyana best interests at heart. He going to parliament to represent y'all.
Boy, I mean, I know what to say. These are very, very serious allegations. And what do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that this man is guilty of such? And is this the way that the information should have been brought to the public? Or is there no hope in terms of reporting politicians who are doing these things? Is it that Guyana has no faith that these politicians will be brought to justice? Clearly, this is the case because social media has now become the beacon where truth is being shed on dark places and dark practices. Because when there is injustice and systems will not facilitate the truth and the proper investigation mechanisms, people have to find an outlet where they have to get their justice served. By making the public aware of this, this is about making sure that that child's life is protected to an extent, but also that should anything happen, we know where to look. But it really does make me worry, especially after the situation that happened with Lola Doll. It's like, wow, now this family gone and put this out there on Melly Mel's page. Could they be a target? Could something bad happen to them after this goes out there? It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place because as a mother, I am thinking that I would want to do anything to protect my child. And if I can't leave Guyana, then I have to make my situation clear to the world that this is taking place and that my child is under threat by powerful people. I really pray that nothing happens to this girl and that her family are able to keep her safe, and that this politician, if these allegations are true, also realizes that he should not be in any way, shape, or form positioned in government to lead the people by carrying out these kind of unethical practices. A pedophile in parliament? Really? This is concerning. Anyway, people, if you have made it this far into the video, please do not forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And if you are new to my channel, hit that bell so you are notified anytime I drop a video. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.